Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is a 360 Dodge engine out of a fire truck. It's from the year 1976 and it has a few heavy duty components such as the heavy duty fan. I believe this is a speed control, possibly for like an idle while a PTO is running. There is no emission stuff on this engine because it came out of a fire truck. The guy that I bought it from also said there's a possibility it has a forged crankshaft, which would be pretty cool. Regardless of all that, it is a new engine for the Dodge. I've had enough of not even being able to drive this car after the thousands of dollars I put into it. So this engine is coming out because I want that other engine in. It's an older engine, it's carbureted, it has a 2-barrel carburetor, as opposed to fuel injection, which doesn't work. So, as you can see, I'm in the process of pulling stuff out. It's Friday afternoon, I just got back from Halifax, so it was a 3-hour drive. And I'm hoping for, by the end of this weekend, I want, at the very minimum, this engine out. And if possible, I'd like to get the new one in. Because that way I can start working on all the other stuff, like, I don't know, like the throttle, the wiring. That engine did run. It's supposedly fairly low mileage, but who knows? I do trust that it will work fine, because the guy, he could have started it if the wiring was right. It turned over, he put oil in the cylinders just to keep it good. So it's all good. But I want to try and get as much off this tonight that I can, because tomorrow I am going to try and get Aiden over here to help me take this engine out. I have never removed an engine before, but I feel pretty confident, and worst case scenario, I can always like search up a video on how they do it. Because I think there's engine mounts in there. I looked up the bolt pattern for this transmission, so I kind of know where the bolts are. I'm also going to take off the intake manifold so I can actually reach behind there, because I'm not dealing with all that. And other than that, I'm just essentially clearing stuff out of the way. Might have to take that fan off just to get a bit more room. Hard to say. And to get it out, I do have a hoist on the ceiling. It's ancient, and it's also hooked up to that beam up there. So, I lifted an engine with it before. I lifted a 350 Chevy engine with it. So hopefully this should be somewhat easy. Yeah, and other than that, I'm literally just going to be stripping parts off of it tonight in order to get it ready for tomorrow. So probably not going to film, might film before I'm done for the night, but for the most part I'm literally just pulling that off, so not much. And I'll be back whenever I'm back. It's been about an hour. I got alternator, distributor, intake out. That one's there. I worked hard at it, and I got it out. I got everything out. And it is a very good thing I did it, because there was about this much room between the firewall and the back of the engine. So now I can at least see the bolts for the transmission, which will make this significantly easier to take out. I know I'm gonna have to like still move around, go under and whatnot to get bolts out, but at least I can get out the most annoying bolts from there. And I think to hoist the engine out, I'm still gonna have to take the hood off. But I might honestly just like wrap a chain around the exhaust and pull it up, because I don't really have anything to grab onto the intake manifold with. So I don't know. I'm gonna pack it up for the night though. I'm gonna go have a beer and study on these just to hopefully make my time a little bit easier while I'm taking it out. Because, like I said, I'd like to get this out, or I'd like to have the new engine in by the end of this weekend. So it's Friday afternoon now. I leave back up to Halifax every Sunday at 6. So I have one full working day tomorrow, and then a good chunk of time on Sunday just to finish stuff up. But like I said, I'm hoping to get most of the work done hopefully tomorrow, and then Sunday I can just like bolt it in or whatever. But I'm gonna pack it up for the night, and I'll pick this back up tomorrow hopefully. It is the next day and progress is coming along slowly but surely. I have the car on blocks at the moment just so I can get underneath it easier. And I unbolted a few things around the transmission. I got these two weird little braces off, the inspection cover, and I'm starting to like sort out the bolts just so I remember what they are. I got the bolts for the torque converter out, and I forgot there's no light under here. If I crawl under, you can see the flywheel. And now I am going to probably start trying to take the bolts out the side. I gotta drain the oil out as well. The oil filter blocks one of the bolts. There's one right behind it. And I think once that oil filter's off, there's only like 4 bolts holding it on, so shouldn't be that hard, but I don't know, it's my first time doing this, so it's probably gonna be a little bit slower. But yeah, starter came out. I think the starter's somewhere over here. Oh yeah, the starter's right here. Yeah, though I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta take the hood off too. I'm probably gonna start working on the bolts back there. Still gotta drain the oil, so I'll be back when I get more progress done. It is now about 9 o'clock. I could have sworn I recorded another clip, but I guess I didn't. I took the hood off. I thought I recorded right after that, but I apparently did not, as I said. I have spent essentially 2 hours trying to get the exhaust bolts out. Let's see if I can leopard crawl in here and find. Yep. Here's one of the nuts. That was about an hour of chiseling to do that, and it finally came off. All of the transmission bolts are out. You can kind of tell the transmission, yeah, it's separating. Oh, wow. Huh. Probably shouldn't be under this, actually. Anyway, I was going to do the engine bolts. I have yet to get a wrench for this, and it's just kind of hanging on there. So that's cool. My engine, the engine mounts were, they're just kind of sitting in place. This one is tight. But yeah, that one was just kind of sitting there. So that's pretty cool. I feel like it should be tighter than finger tight. Who knows, though, I'm not an expert. So yeah, I'm going to continue doing this. I'm taking out the other engine mount. It's not a lot of light down here. Taking out the other engine mount there. And then I gotta hook up I'm using ratchets. I couldn't actually find any chain, unfortunately, so I'm just gonna use a lot of ratchets. I don't care how safe it is, it's just as long as it works. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna bring the car down so I can actually back it out. Let me get out of here. But yeah, I'm gonna attach it all up, or bring it down first after taking the mounts off, and then I'm going to attach it, and then tomorrow will be the big day. I'll finally pull the engine out, and then there's a few things I have to do. I went up and talked to Paul, and he said that I have to weld some weights onto the torque converter. So I got to figure out what the weight is and where to put it, and then weld that on, and then hopefully everything else will work. So for right now, I am going to finish doing that, bring it down to the ground, and then get it ready for tomorrow morning. So I'll be back then. It is the next day. Engine is almost completely out. I just have to move the car back a little bit and maybe put a little bit of weight on. It touches slightly, but if I like put any weight on it, it clears. So I might just put one of the cinder blocks in there. Yeah, though, I'm very excited to get this out. It's been a long time coming. And this didn't really even take that long. I got it all prepped last night, so I just had to tighten the ratchet straps, which are doing very well. They each have like 300 pounds of tension on them, but that's fine. And yeah, I like how broken everything on this engine is. Each exhaust pipe's like a different length. That's cool. They both point the same way, which is weird. Whatever. But yeah, not much else of note. When I get this out, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna put it on. I'm thinking I could put this in the back of the Datsun. Because I could put the gate down and have like just enough room to get it. But then I'd also have to pick that engine up from a higher point, and I don't know if that would clear. So I might honestly just look for a wagon and just like put it in that for now. Because I think that would work about as well. But that issue's for a few minutes from now, not right now. So I'm gonna keep working on this and hopefully it keeps going smoothly. It's a little while later. Engine is fully out. Car's moved out the way. And I have the engine on a little sled. Might have to use the truck to move it because the lawnmower started pulling up the yard there. Oh. Not gonna focus anymore. Yeah. Car sits so much higher than before. And I think I'm going to move the Dodge back in for this weekend because I still have to buy parts for it. And then hopefully they get here by next weekend so I can just move the Dodge out the way, back the Datsun up in, take that engine off, put it all together, and then put it in the car, then do whatever. So I'm gonna move this stuff back out the way and move the Dodge back in, and that's about all I have to do this weekend. It is now 2 weeks later. The parts I ordered came in on Tuesday, and it is Saturday now, the next week. I didn't do a whole bunch last weekend. I had 3 days to do stuff, but I just mainly did prep work. I took the power steering pump off. I see what he means by it was banged up a little bit. You can kind of see where it was flattened out there. It was still spinning though, so it might still pump, who knows. Not that I need it. But I got the engine mounts off. I had to take the old engine mounts off the old engine because Grampy modified them to be flat instead of straight. I had to cut one of them off, but it's whatever. I got the distributor hooked up. Should be alright. Rebuilt the carburetor. Just a whole bunch of prep work to get it ready. I ordered a thermostat housing and whatnot just to get that all fixed up, and I think I ordered this hose as well because I don't know how much I trust that. But just a whole bunch of parts were ordered, and should be about it. I did decide during this week that I don't want to risk the ignition system that came with this. It's supposed to be Chrysler's electronic ignition. I bought a whole new distributor, which came complete. It is brand new. I managed to get it for like $100. I have no idea how I pulled that off. But it's all there, and I think I want to swap that over. Just so I have a completely new ignition system. Not that I don't want this one. I'd be fine with this, but if this craps out like halfway from here to Halifax, that's not going to be good for me. So I just want to make sure that everything is in working condition, especially because I know Chrysler electronics are not the best to have or to rely on, to be honest, because that's why that engine's over there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go swap that over. I have to get the flex plate as well. That came in. And I'm gonna do a little bit more prep work, and then I start moving this into the garage. So I'm gonna go try and do that really quick. Gotta try and get the distributor lined up. It shouldn't be too hard though. But yeah, I'll be back when that's all done. These are all of the parts that I have right now. One order is still missing, not sure where it went. And new Rock Auto sticker, another Datsun. This makes me very happy because I only have a few Nissans. I have one here, here, here. This is a Pulsar, which I find really cool because I was trying to get one in town. It was an 84. It's still there actually. And now this one. Yeah, the wall continues. Most of this is for the Dodge anyways. Most of these are for the Dodge. And yeah, there's a coil, there's a ballast resistor, I believe, a $200 flex plate. That is essentially just a stock Chrysler one with this weight welded on. Couldn't find the value for the weight, but whatever. And I got all the bolts off, so I just really have to mount this on. That's all I needed. This entire project was delayed by a week just because of that. Well, that's cool. I gotta go clean up a few more things. And yeah, I'm just gonna start swapping the parts on. It's nothing exciting, it's just moving parts around, so I'll be back if anything interesting happens or when I'm ready to continue. Current update, the truck is lined up. Dodge is moved out the way. I moved the torque converter, you can kind of see it there in the sunlight, because it almost fell out. And about ready to back it up and start putting it on the hoist. So, to do that, and hopefully next time you see it, it'll be on the hoist. It's a little while later. Datsun is attached to the Dodge again. It's also at its regular ride height. Engine is floating here, using only the safest techniques imaginable. Just tripped over something. You want your ratchets to be as tight as imaginable, so that when one of them snaps, they all just explode instantly. Anyway, that's all good. It's in the air. I can lift it up a little bit more. I had an issue with when I was pulling it out. I ended up bottoming that out. I had like maybe that much space in between the oil pan and the front of the Dodge. Oh yeah, flex plate is also on. I put the new oil filter on. I don't know what was wrong with this one, but it like crushed the moment I touched it. Like with my hand, I could bend it inwards, so one's a little weak. New distributor and stuff. I don't think I said this, but I got the new coil on. I had to not really modify. I had to replace this little screw in here to get that on. Blocked off this vacuum leak. Unsure of what this is still. I found a weird pipe fitting in the corner of the garage, and I just hammered it on. It's airtight somehow. It's more airtight than this actually, so that's fun. New distributor went in without any issue. I probably should look into new plug wires soon, but this is all good. All the vacuum lines are set up, the coil's in. It really didn't even take that long. I spent most of the time just like preparing this. I wire brushed the back of the crank and I put oil all around it just to stop corrosion in the future. And yeah, I've just been going around making sure everything's ready. This stuff did not show up, and I might have to look into that, but it's not important for now. It's just the thermostat housing. Don't need that to fire it up. Torque converter's out. Yeah, everything is good. I have to use the Datsun to pull the Dodge up because you wouldn't believe how heavy 3,600 pounds is. Technically 3,000 now because the engine's not in anymore. It's still heavy because the yard, it's not level, it's kind of like this. It's slanted a bit. So going in the yard, perfectly fine. Coming out's a different story. But yeah, I'm gonna bring that in and ease it into here. And I'll finally be able to put this in. I gotta put the engine mounts in here, as well as the exhaust pipes, but that's not a right now issue. So, we'll be back when Dodge is back in. It's a little while later. The wind is picking up quite a bit. That's probably not a good thing. Anyway, everything's in position. Torque converter's back in. The transmission is jacked up to where it should be, I think. Engine, I checked over. Everything seems good. I can't think of anything else I need to do. I started putting the engine mounts back on, so it should be realistically all ready to go back in. There's nothing else I have to access, and if I do, I can access it while it's in the car. But yeah, I'm gonna start lowering it in, and hopefully it's not that hard. I don't think it should be. It's gonna be a little more difficult than taking it out, of course, just because taking it out, I just don't have to line up everything. I don't know how good that is. This line's a little pinched. It's probably not a good thing. I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, it's probably fine. But yeah, I'm going to start lowering this in, and hopefully I can get it into position and bolt it up fairly quick. I'm very excited to have this back in the car. Well, I say back in, it's first time in. Whatever. I'll be back. It's a bit later. The engine is kind of sitting in here. It's not fully down. Let's see if you can see. You can kind of see, here's the mount. It's really hard to see. Here's the mount. There's the where it's supposed to mount to the car. This side's almost got it. And it's getting closer. I just gotta finagle it in a little bit. I think it's kind of floating right now. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I've been waiting for years to have a normal running car. I don't mind the fuel injection. I am fine with fuel injection, but a 2-barrel carburetor is so much simpler. Because now I can control the idle, throttle, whatever. All that stuff controlled by me. So yeah, I'm going to keep trying to get it in. I did take the belts off. And yeah, shouldn't take too much longer. I think another half hour. Its progress is pretty slow. I had to manually pull the car in here like myself. I used those gloves so I didn't cut myself, but I pulled it from the driveway in. Getting a little tired, but I want this in tonight. I don't care if it's bolt up, I just wanted it to sit inside the car. And it is looking pretty good. So I'm going to keep at it and I'll be back. It is the next day, and if you're very observant, you'll notice the engine's not in the car anymore. That's because it doesn't fit. I tried getting this in last night, only to discover that this massive oil pan, that for some reason is like half the size of the engine, it hits cross member there. It is too large by like an inch of clearance. So I cannot get it in. To resolve this issue, I have to buy a new oil pan, because this is a front sump, which I don't know, a lot of people need, but I have, and I need the rear sump. So I have to buy that, and I have to buy a different pickup tube as well. But I'm not sure which one I need, so I'm going to take the oil pan off. Shouldn't be any oil in it. And just inspect what's in there, then buy more parts. I think after I do that, I'm going to start clearing up some of my wiring here, because it's a bit of a disaster. But yeah, disappointing once again. Another week essentially going to waste. Only progress I made this week was getting it in here. So that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start taking the oil pan off, and I'll probably be back when that's off. Oil pan is off, and I'm now realizing I probably shouldn't have listened to the guy I bought it from when he said he drained the oil. Because that doesn't look drained to me. Well, it's free undercoating at least. This car never actually leaked oil beforehand, so the underside's a little dry. But yeah, that is a very long pickup tube. And at least now I know what I have to order. Which is good, because none of the parts I saw were even anywhere close to that long. They usually stop about there. So that's pretty interesting. Also, I don't know, there's a little bolt on the side here, and I have no idea what it's for. I don't know what that would be used for, considering how high it is on the pan. Also, why is this oil pan so large? Oh, I guess because the rotating assembly. I don't know, on the engine I pulled out of this, the oil pan's like, it's like maybe that tall. So this one seems a little excessive to me. But other than that, it should be good. I was reading on it, I also have to like move the dipstick. I don't know where it's supposed to go if it's not here, but it's probably fine. I don't know. I'll figure more out. I just had to see what I'm dealing with inside of this so I can buy parts to accommodate that. Might buy an oil pump too, just while I'm in here. I don't know, hard to say. I'm gonna put all of this back together, and I don't know, I guess I'll start with the wiring after that. There's a lot I gotta rip out, so I'll be back. It is the next weekend I should say. All my parts are here. New water pump, oil pan and stuff, gaskets. I already went ahead and swapped over the pickup for the pump before I recorded anything. And I stripped all of the old gasket, which I'm not sure what it was really made of. It's like little pieces of it scattered around. I thought it was cork at first, but it feels more like plastic now, and I have no idea what it is. But it's all ready to go back together, so I get to put the gaskets on, which I'm sure that's going to be fun, considering it's like 3 different pieces. 4, actually. So that's going to be fun, and I also get to put the water pump on. But hopefully, once that's done, I will be able to finally put this engine in. And hopefully, it won't get in the way of anything. The only thing I can think of is that bar might get in the way. That might be a problem. But I'll figure that out when I get there. So I'm going to start working again. Hopefully this shouldn't take too long. Okay, I've got some bad news, mainly for myself. The new pan I got is completely unusable in this situation. Because I was kind of hoping that it would just be this one but flipped. Because that would work pretty much perfectly. I flip that one around, it doesn't hit anything. This one, however, if I wanted to make this fit, I'd have to cut like all of this out and just straight down and remove all of this. Because that flipped around, the front doesn't hit anything. But because the sump is so much larger than this one, you can kind of see the difference. Same depth, but one is just like twice the size. It hits that. Not only does it hit that, it hits it in the dead center of the sump. So if I want it to fit, it would have to look like this. There'd have to be a hole through the pan, essentially. So this pan's unusable for me. Which also means I'll have to take the pump and sump back off, which that wasn't that hard, it's 2 bolts. So I looked around a little bit, did some measurements. This pan is going to be the one I'm using. And that's because everything in the back is fine. The only problem it has is the front here. This front bit, it's just where the cross member kind of curves. That little curve right there. That hits the sides of the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dent the pan just on the sides to make it so that it doesn't hit anymore. I only need to dent it. I think my measurement was like 3/4 of an inch. And then it should slot in. I don't want to do this, but I also don't really have a choice if I want this engine to go in. Unless, of course, I could find like a weird middle sump pan like the old engine had. But I have a feeling that it wouldn't be what I expect. And instead of being a sump like that, it would be a sump like that just in the middle, which would still hit that cross member bar. So I'm going to have to dent that pan just for it to fit. I have new gaskets and everything. It'll go back on. Everything's still there. And I still have the pickup as well. So, nothing, like, it would still work. It's just unfortunate that I have to modify parts just to get this to fit already. But whatever. Guess it has to happen. So, I'm going to take a little break from doing that right now. I'm going to take the water pump off. I don't know if I said it, but for some reason, the water pump on this engine is backwards. It's like a mirror image. It's a mirror image of everything I've seen while searching up parts. Because, like, you can see the inlet is there. Inlet's supposed to be there. I can't find a picture or any part that has it on that side. Every time I search up a water pump for these, it's only on this side. So I have no idea why it's like that, or why I can't find one like it, but I got a new one because the outlet for the radiator is on passenger side. See it right there. So I'm gonna do that and dent the pan, which I don't want to do, but has to be done. So I'll be back. It is a little while later, and I am very near my breaking point. I'm trying to take a break from the oil pan because it didn't fit. I was expecting it to. I decided I'll just do the water pump. if I arrange these properly, you'll notice one of these pulleys, or one of the mounts for the pulleys, is significantly different from the other. It's about an inch off, because that one, for some reason, is too long. There's maybe 2 bolts that line up properly. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but this is like one of the thicker, actually this is the thicker one. This is the thickest like bolt hole on the old pump. That's like, this is the thinnest on it. They're the same size. Hole, mounts that should be that thick are this thick. So if this worked, I'd have to get all new hardware because no bolts line up. That's not even a big issue. These little tubes, whatever they are, they line up too. That one's moved over a little bit. It's whatever. It's a heater line. This also lines up. That's the entire reason I got this. The pulleys won't. And it's because if you look, you can see how long the shaft for this is compared to this. This is too long to be used for anything. And I went back online to try and see if I maybe just got a wrong one. They're all of that. It's only this. You go through any brand, it's just this. They just changed the brand name. It's the exact same cast. And I thought maybe I can press it on a little bit. You can kind of see there's a little mark. Yeah, I moved it. But for this to work, this would have to be pressed straight into this to about here. So that's completely useless. This is just junk. Like, I can't use that in any way, shape, or form. It's completely useless. So I'm going back to the old one. The fun with this is that's on the wrong side. So I'm going to have a hose that goes all the way out, around, and then back in to the radiator. Because you can see that's on the passenger side. That points to the passenger side. That points to the driver's side. But this is complete junk for some reason. So I can't use it. Not to mention that when you push this on, see if I can even do it with one hand. There's not much sealing surface there at all. It's not on fully, but like there's maybe like 1/8 of an inch holding that. So under pressure, I'm sure that would last an incredible amount of time. So this is just complete junk. Like, I can't use this at all, which is awesome. So I am going to have to do my weird idea of having a hose that comes out of there, around somehow, and in, which is just awesome. I'm really getting tired of random parts that I get and goes like, oh, it's a direct fit. It'd be a direct fit if this engine was blown up, but it doesn't work at all because that pulley should line up here. It lines up like here, so one belt won't even fit on because it'll be trying to go from here to here. I don't know. I'm just getting frustrated. I just wanted to vent a little, but I'm gonna go put the old one back on, I guess, and I'll be back. I ended up spray painting the old water pump. It's just chilling outside there. I think something outside of Datsun still. Yeah. So I'm just letting that dry off. I just wanted to make sure it looked a little nicer. I've calmed down quite a bit because apparently swinging a hammer is a good way to take some anger off. Oil pan's back on. All but one bolt went in. I don't know why. I don't really care anymore. There's one bolt up there. Instead of going in normally like it did when it came out, it just decided to instantly cross thread and strip all the threads out. So I don't care. Later on, if it leaks from there, it's only this little area here. If it leaks from there, whatever. I'll just, I don't know, fix the threads, put another bolt in. It's not that hard. Anyway, I'm currently in the middle of bending the pan. As you can see, these beautiful ripples were factory built. Really, it shouldn't. I mean, it's getting slimmer. You can kind of see it's getting smaller. I don't really need this entire thing bent. I just need like this corner, preferably this entire corner just gone. It won't affect the oil pickup inside because it sits like at the very back for some reason. So that should be all good. And other than that, I was just kind of tinkering around. I got all of this stuff set up. My thermostat housing actually fit, which is nice. And so this new hose. So that's kind of where most of my joy is right now. And yeah, I went through all new gaskets and everything. Old ones were destroyed. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep hammering away at that and hopefully it should fit. Well, I've been at it for a few minutes and looks horrific, but from the bottom, kind of see it's round. It's rounded, which is what I need because like it used to be more like that, and now it's kind of smooth. I'm gonna put it down in and see if it's close, see how much more I have to do. But this is a good start for now. So I'm gonna put it down in and see how much more I need. It's the next day and the engine is officially in. Where I was hammering it yesterday, it actually was just enough to fit in, and I only had to jump on the engine a few times to get it to be pushed in. But it's in, and I got most of the transmission bolts in. I got all the 4 on top, so I just have to do what's on the bottom. The valve cover does go on, everything clears. So I've just been tooting around trying to get some stuff back on. I still have to I have to tighten the engine mounts down still. But it's in. Took a long time. None of the parts fit, but it's actually in now. So I'm going to put the water pump and alternator back on just so I don't forget about it. And I'm also going to go around tying up all the mounts and whatnot. Just going to get it hooked up. The starter also has to go on too. It's just hanging out underneath. So I'm going to go around and do that and I'll be back. Well, it's a couple hours later. I got everything, pretty much everything back on. Water pump is back on and all hooked up. I got the new hose on. The alternator's back up. Doesn't sound the best, but they're probably fine. Got a piece of paper over the carburetor for now. Stuck that valve cover back on just for the week. And underneath, I got a good amount hooked up. Yeah, you can see the oil pan now. Looks more like a raisin, but that's fine. I was trying to hook up the torque converter or put the bolts back in, and I managed to get it I managed to get the pattern wrong because you can only put it on one way. I managed to get 2 in and then nothing else. So that is a thing for next week, because I am done for today. Running out of time and I have to head back to Halifax. So I'm gonna pack it up for today and I'll be back next week. It is the next week. I'm a little under the weather, but that's okay. What's not okay is the Dodge right now. I once again made the error of thinking a part would actually fit and work normally. And this flex plate is currently the issue. This was in the car last time you saw it. It was in the car 20 minutes ago. This flex plate, Chrysler made it so that you can only put them on one way. So one of these is supposed to be offset. Now, if you look very closely, all of these have the exact same distance in between them. If you look at these, that one's normal, that one's normal, that one's normal. This one is over here. So I bought a $200 paperweight, essentially, because this doesn't work. So what I get to do is annihilate all of this and take this little weight and weld that on to that one. Finding the location is not going to be hard because these only do go on one way. 2 short bolts right there, or a short gap and a big one. And there's also a little hole there. So it's not going to be hard to figure out where they go, especially because these are exact replicas of each other, essentially. This one is just messed up. I don't know how that's even possible, but I guess it is. So I'm going to take all of this off and cut all of that. So I'll be back. It is not much later. It's like maybe 40 minutes since I pulled the engine out. This didn't take long. That has been mangled. I stole the weight off of it and it's welded onto the old one. From what I figured out, these little holes, this doesn't weigh anything. Like that weighs not even a pound. Maybe a pound. It's not much. There's little holes drilled here. And there's one big hole drilled there. They're roughly in the same spot, and I don't really care because taking out that little, it probably wouldn't even show up on a scale. Like, it weighs nothing. So I'm not even going to worry about that. The new weight is welded on. The welds are, I don't even know if you can see it that well. They're okay. The side welds are probably the stronger ones for some reason. Don't know why. But that's all good. I just need the weight on. So I get to throw that back on. And then for like the 3rd time, put the engine back in the car. Before I do put it in though, I'm going to mark where the offset is. That way I can immediately find it when I put the engine back on, because each time I put a bolt in, I can put 2 bolts in, and then I have to get out and manually turn the engine with my hand and then go back under and see if I lined it up enough. So I'm going to put a mark on that, but for right now I'm going to put that back in, and hopefully it won't take long to put the engine back in. Then I can actually continue working from where I was. It is a couple hours later. Engine is back in. The old flex plate is now a paperweight, essentially, and yeah, I was right. It's only even. I know I pointed that out, but I'm still angry at that. Anyway, the engine is back in completely. I haven't lifted the hoist off it yet because it's loud and it takes a long time. Everything is hooked up, should be. All of the transmission bolts are back in, covers back on, the inspection cover, I mean. The starter is back in. You can see it up there. And I also put oil back in this. I did that like 10, 15 minutes ago maybe. It hasn't leaked anything yet. And that is an absolute miracle. Anyway, so what I want to do right now is, given my luck, I want to see if this can even turn over first. I put the battery back in, disconnected the fuel tank. Well, I can't remember. The connector, the electronic connector, so it can't pump fuel. No ignition is hooked up. It's literally just the starter. I just want to see if it turns over. It should. Nothing around that has been changed, but just to make sure, I do want to turn it over. Because now would be a good time to see if anything does. Okay. Perk. I might have to tighten the terminals up a little bit. Okay, I'll be back when I'm ready to start it. Okay, this is attempt number 2. If something doesn't work here, it's because there's a ground disconnected. My lights even work? Yeah, lights work. Okay, so there's a ground disconnected somewhere. I'm gonna just poke around, I guess, see what's disconnected. I don't know from where, because the engine... Oh, actually, I think I know where the one is. Okay, I dug through a few connectors, and I remember that ground that went to the intake manifold before. So, maybe now it'll start, because that was the main ground. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna mess around with it a bit more. And if it doesn't start, then I don't know. I was going through some points, and that little new yellow connector right in the middle of the screen, apparently rust and air are not that good of a conductor. So I patched that up, been meaning to do it for 3 years now. But now when I turn the key, it's got a little bit of a limp, but it's also been just kind of sitting around, and the battery's almost dead. But right now, it turns over. Actual miracle, it turns over. I'm very happy it turns over. And I'm very happy that my ground here held up. That is very warm. I don't feel like that should be grounding to the body, but I guess it does, so. That would explain why I've had a lot of starter issues with this car. I always just thought it was the terminal getting rusty, but apparently it was just that little connector there is taking the whole charge, apparently. Because that's, like, really warm. A minute ago, I probably wouldn't have been touching that, but... Strange. I'll probably look into that later. Or I'll probably just figure out how to ground engine to the battery. That's a later date kind of thing. For right now, engine turns over. It's all together. I'm sick. I'm tired. I've been working on this since 12. It is currently 8:30. So I'm done for the day. Tomorrow, I am going to start either the exhaust or electronics. I don't really want to touch the electronics. You can probably tell why. And I don't really want to touch the exhaust. I don't really want to do anything, to be honest. Though today I did get a brand new piece of exhaust pipe. I actually got the Datsun fixed last night to go do this today. So at least I have it. So I'll probably decide tomorrow what I feel like doing more, but for right now I'm just gonna pack it up and just get ready for tomorrow, I guess. So I'll see you in the morning. It is the next day, and I've decided that I'm going to be tackling the wiring because it seems like the less tiring of the two. So all I'm going to be doing is going to the parts I need, tracking wires that come from those, and just keep everything connected that I need. Anything that's not useful, such as like this vacuum line set and the cables for the alternator, all of that stuff is going to go. I'm going to disconnect everything where possible, and stuff that I don't need, I'm probably just going to cut off or disconnect entirely. Because I only need, I think the turn signal is going to be like the most wires. because this ignition too, I also want to get rid of this. I want to go to the one on the dash. Just because I think it would be nice. So it's going to be a lot of wiring. So there's quite a bit under here. But that's why I'm tackling it now. So I'm going to start going through and see where that gets me. So I'll be back. It's a couple hours later. I got a whole bunch of wiring out of the engine bay. Pretty sure that's my transmission connector. Got a lot of electronics and random doodads out. And it's looking pretty nice in here so far. There's still a lot of wiring. Like that, I gotta figure out what it all goes to, and I'm trying to figure it out. It's just taking a long time. And then in here, I'm starting to strip everything down still. There's a lot. I just gotta figure out what wires I'm using and what I'm not. But like, you can see how much I have to go through, so. I'm packing it up for this weekend. I'll continue this next weekend, but just wanted to show the progress real quick. It is looking better. It's just gonna take a lot more. But hopefully if I can get it to a point next weekend where I like it, then I'll probably just like stop stripping it down and then hook up the ignition and start working on other stuff, because I can work on this wiring like whenever I feel like, essentially, because it's not in the way. Like I can just park the car outside and start doing this. Just non-essential stuff. So I'm going to pack it up for the weekend and be back in a week. It's the next weekend, and did a little bit of work last night, Friday night. I put the seat back in because I decided that I can't see the wiring under the carpet, and it's too much of a pain to go through. And I cleaned up a good portion of wiring under the hood, so I'm happy with how it is now. So I'm just going to stop removing wiring, and I'm going to start working on the new stuff. I want to start with voltage regulator. I want to start with the alternator. I did put new belts on last night. I have to take the fan pulley off and the crank pulley just to get the belts on, because there's no room at the bottom there. So that's fun. But they're actually tight, which is nice. So I gotta try and figure out the wiring situation for this. I'm still trying to research it. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, they're like 20 bucks. So that's not a big deal. I ordered a new regulator, or not regulator, radiator. I ordered a new radiator last weekend, so should be here October something. I don't know. I think they said like the 9th. So that's no big deal. I got plenty of time to work on it. And yeah, I gotta try and figure out how this works, because I don't know. It's a little bit of a mystery to me. I know there's like different little pins and stuff, because there's those two there and there's this wire, which I can't really figure out what they all do. But I guess I'll keep looking into it to see. Yeah, no, that's done. I guess I'm just gonna start researching. I gotta wire up the transmission again. I think I threw the connector over here. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna splice that to the connectors here, like find out what wires they were, and then just cut everything else off because I don't need them. So I'm probably just gonna do that, and yeah, be back when I have anything done, I guess. After scouring through quite a few wiring diagrams of the original ignition switch and like a whole bunch of this wiring diagram, I managed to completely obliterate the old ignition switch. There's these weird little security screws, so you can't put a normal thing in there, so I just put a screwdriver in and snapped it off, just so I could see inside. That didn't help me at all. Meh. But I did go through a few wiring diagrams, figured out the keys, like what wires I need. These are my 4 important ones. These 3 do, like, I think one of them's for air conditioning. I don't have air conditioning. And I don't remember what the other 2 were. But I wired it up to the original ignition switch. And now, I'm just going to prop it up on my foot. Okay. It actually works. I don't know how I managed to get it first try, but I did. So now I have that, and when I'm done doing all of this, I'm going to put it back up in the dash. Also, it turns over a lot better through that ignition switch, because the last time I tried, I haven't charged the battery at all, but the last time I tried, it was like really sluggish. I haven't cleaned any connections since the last time, and I just hooked it up to that, and all of a sudden it's turning over way faster, way stronger. So I don't know. I don't know if that ignition switch was having issues before, but it's turning over better, which is really weird. Now what I have to do is my alternator wiring. I've yet to start it. It's taken a long time to find the other stuff, but it's time to start with that, because I think I know how to hook it up. I just want to do the ignition first so I could actually work with it. So I'm gonna see if I can get this all hooked up. Yeah, I'll be back. It's a little bit later, and I'm like 80% sure I'm done with the alternator. The wiring diagram I was following, I believe it's all wired up, at least the little wires. I was coming out and hitting me. Yeah, because I got these 2 wires hooked up. They're hooked up to the voltage regulator, which may or may not work, who knows. That wire is hooked up to the ignition switch. I don't know if you can see, it kind of runs everywhere. I just kept stealing wires from the wiring harness there. So that may work. I gotta figure out how to hook up the rest of it. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the battery wire. I think it said battery on it somewhere. Yeah, that. So I'm just gonna figure out where this hooks up to. And I think that'd be it for the alternator. And now I just gotta, well, I obviously gotta sort out the wires a bit, but I get to move on to the actual ignition system. So that's exciting. Yeah, I'm just gonna mess around with this, and hopefully this doesn't take long so I can start working on that. I'd really like to fire this car up this weekend. Hopefully today. Might have time. Depends on how fast I work, but yeah, I'm pretty hopeful on it. Pretty optimistic. I think I can do it. So I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll be back. It's a little while later. I've just had supper, and before I went to do that, I finished off the alternator. I don't think there's anything else. I'm pretty sure it grounds through the engine. That's what the wiring harness or the wiring diagram said, so that should be good. All of these wires are good, and the cable here, I didn't end up using the one that was attached to it. It's over there somewhere. I just stole the one from the old engine because it was on the wiring harness. I just snapped it off. Found a new connector, soldered that together. It doesn't really look like it's soldered, but I can't pull it apart, so it's good. I cleaned up all the connections, and I poured some oil on them just so they won't corrode. Went around, I just oiled a whole bunch of stuff because I forgot to oil, because I don't want them to rust over instantly. Did the same with the voltage regulator. Yeah, so that cable, it goes straight into the old wiring harness, where it goes in there, which is still hooked to the battery. So that should be all good. And now, I gotta fix that after. But now what I want to do is I'd like to hook up the ignition. Like the actual ignition for the engine, not the ignition switch. Shouldn't be that hard. Most of it's already there. I just have to get some... It's just going to be a lot of splicing cables. But I don't think it's that complicated. And hopefully I will be able to fire it up after. Which would be very nice, because that's kind of what I want to do this weekend. Then after that I'll probably just work on the exhaust, but I'm going to try and get that hooked up before tonight at least, or before I'm done for the day. So I'm going to get into it. It's the afternoon of the next day. Didn't get a crazy amount done. I actually did a brake job on the Cadillac, so that took a bit of my morning. Cadillac's doing good. Oh, I gotta glue some back on that, or just remembered. Sorted out the ignition last night. For some reason, ran into a problem. Can't find anything on this problem, but I have it. The way the wiring diagram for this kind of setup for ignition works, there's a wire that goes from the run position on the key through this ballast resistor, which comes out and connects to the coil. That's how the coil gets a charge. There's also a bypass, so when you're cranking, it gives power straight to this side of the ballast resistor and sends it straight to the coil. I had a weird issue. Like I said, I cannot find anything on it. I'm not sure why it's like that, but it is. When I turn the key to the run position with that setup, the engine immediately starts cranking over. And I figured out, because there's power here, the power would go through the ballast resistor and backfeed through the wire going into the start position, which would hit the start position post, charging the start wire, or the cranking wire. So the minute I turned it into the run position, it just started cranking over. It was the same if it was in crank, because it was getting power normally. So I just removed all that together. I just have the run position wire, which has power while cranking, and the just regular wire. And I've been messing around with that, trying to figure it out for a little while. And I just got it to start up. I'm going to say that. I just got it to fire up for... It ran like 2 seconds by itself. I don't have a throttle hooked up, so I'm just kind of going crazy with that. But yeah, I'm gonna put you on the stand and get a little clip of that running, because that was my goal for this weekend, and I actually hit it. So that's pretty exciting. A little better. I'm just saying, that's pretty good. I like how there's steam coming out. Yeah, though, it works. I can't really see over the hood because the ignition switch is still on the floor. I've been cranking like that, so that'll be a good way to actually see what's happening there. Getting hot, getting hot. It's a little warm. Yeah, I also added. I think I pointed this out, but I added a new ground switch too. It's so much cooler now because the one over there was like about to melt. Don't know how it hasn't yet. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress this weekend. I'm happy that I actually managed to see it start. That brings me a lot of joy. Next, I got to work on exhaust, and I also got to work on the throttle. That shouldn't be that hard, but I don't know. It'll be something. But yeah, for now, I think I'm gonna end off this weekend like this on a win. So yeah, next weekend I'll start with the exhaust. It is the next weekend. I just finished mowing for the final mow of the season, so that's nice. Just an oil change on the Cadillac. And it's time to get back to work on the Dodge. I really should start like watching my clips before I record after a week break, but I kind of know what I'm doing. I want to sort out throttle first. Because exhaust, that's something that's going to take a while to work on. So before I get into that, I want to work on throttle. Should not be that hard. I already kind of have a plan. I'm going to use the throttle cable wherever it is. Like the one that was with the car before. And I'm just going to weld on the old plate onto this, and hopefully that should work. I also have to sort out my kick down thing there. So what I want to do for that is the bracket that was on the old engine, it had the special clip so that these can go into. It's like why it's so bulky right there. I tried taking it off last night. Thankfully, they used hex heads, so I can't get it off. I'm just going to cut it off with a hacksaw. That engine has so many of those fasteners, and they suck so much. So I'm going to grab the hacksaw and go cut off those pieces and figure out what to do from there. It's been a little bit of time, and I took off the old connectors that were on there. There was these weird little posts with the extra nut that was brazed on, if my camera would focus. That one came off without any issue. This one though, how they brazed it, there's a nut that was holding it on this side. You couldn't take it off because they brazed it over the shaft. So that's been destroyed. And it doesn't really matter, I couldn't use them anyways. There's a bee or something in here now. But I went ahead and made a ball fit. That bee is really distracting me. Okay, it's just in here now. I went ahead and made a little ball out of this bolt. And this kind of goes into here. I'm pretty much copying what it had before, so it's like a little ball joint. If I push it in. Okay, well, it went in a second ago. It takes a little bit of force because it's a bit larger. It doesn't fit incredibly well. But when it pops in, it's completely in there. So that's all good. That'll be for my throttle. And for this, I pretty much just need like, I don't even know, just like a pin or like a washer on the end of a bolt or something. That's pretty easy. It's just something flat. Like I could even just put it there if I wanted. That one's not an issue. Real problem is now, these are the plates that I had to cut off. This one goes to there, the throttle one already has it. Yeah. I gotta try and figure out a way to weld these on somewhere, connect them somewhere, where they can like actually connect. They don't have to be at the best of angles, but I gotta try and get it somewhere where it works. So I'm gonna just look around. I gotta reroute my throttle cable. It's wrapped around the exhaust or something. But I'm gonna look at that for a little bit and see what I come up with. It's a while later, and I did actually get all of the throttle and whatnot done. I took a bolt and kind of like filed it down to a ball. Let's see if I can pop it off. Yeah, made like a little ball so it can actually go in. Oh. I also took these little brackets from the old engine and I welded onto this random bracket that was here and was in the perfect spot. So those are firmly mounted. The kick down cable, that's also in here. Not sure if it's going to work the best. I can hear it do something. I just don't know if it's pulling enough. I feel like it should be though, because that's roughly how much it was pulling before. So worst case scenario, I can always just like make this longer, give it more travel. It's not a big deal. So yeah. Now I want to move on to the fuel system, because I've been bottle feeding it each and every time I go to start it. And I don't really want to do that because I'm pretty sure this has a full tank. I can't remember how much was in this, but there's more than enough to run this. So I do want to hook that up. There's 2 fuel lines from the fuel injection system right there. These 2. I don't remember. This one has a red zip tie on it. I don't remember which one that was for because I pulled them apart. I feel like the red one is to signify like the actual output or like what's coming from the tank. So I'm gonna go underneath the car and I'm gonna like fact check that because I don't actually know. Yeah, just gonna figure that out, and I'm probably just gonna scrap the return line, and I'm just gonna use that because I don't actually have any fuel line. I thought I did, but I'm just gonna use the scraps to kind of fix up everything here. So I'm gonna go ahead with that and see where that gets me. It's the next day. The fuel line issue was resolved simply by getting a new fuel line. I just got like 4 feet of rubber line. I just ran it to the pump. It goes around the back. It sits on the top of the transmission there. Should be pretty good. Also, you might notice the car's a bit higher than usual. Not that you can really see, but it's a little taller than usual because it's on blocks right now. The whole fuel line is hooked up. That's pretty much all I did yesterday, and today. But now I'm working on the exhaust. I've already started with the down pipes off the off the exhaust manifold. So I have that. You can't really see it. There you go. I have that bolted up there. It's not tight, but it's sitting in there. And that one's in as well. And I think what I'm gonna do, I don't really care about flow rate or like how well anything can flow, to be honest. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a pipe in that one and have it go straight out until between the cross member there and the transmission pan. And I'm just gonna have it do a 90-degree turn, cross over here, and then it's gonna join up with this pipe. The pipe on the driver's side. And then after the cross member, I'm just gonna put the muffler in. It's already sitting there. It'll go in there, hopefully. And then I just have to get it over the axle, which I can zoom in now. Gotta get it over the axle, and then just straight out the back. So it should be pretty simple. It's a lot of straight lines, which is really nice, and I have actual adapters so I don't have to weld everything straight together, which I might still do. It's hard to say, but it's coming along pretty good. I already have the measurement for that pipe, so I'm just going to go ahead, cut that, and weld it up and see where I get to go from there. It is Friday of the next week, and I have already started taking stuff out. I got the old fuel pump out and replaced it with a brand new one, which is in there all nice. Had to pop the alternator off. Well, I didn't pop it off fully, I just kind of like swung it up. But I got that one on, so that should hold up good. Brand new voltage regulator. That was brand new shiny red plastic in there. So that's all good. Hopefully that'll work. I don't know if the old one worked or not. I just decided to replace it. Brand new radiator. It's sitting there. And right now I'm just going to put the radiator in. I'm just trying to do stuff that doesn't interfere with the exhaust right now, because that's pretty much the last thing I need to do. And that's not incredibly hard to do. So I'd like to do that, and probably be all for tonight. And I'll pick it up tomorrow by working on the exhaust some more, because it's coming along, but just need a little bit more work to do. So I'm going to slap the radiator in, and I'll probably be done for tonight. The next day, afternoon of the next day, I should say. My girlfriend's down this weekend, so recording's a little scattered. But last night I got the radiator in. Bit of a pain to do. It fits in here. Fits in 3 bolts holding it. I don't have a bottom bolt for it, but that's whatever. One new radiator hose. And then down there, that hose is the old one. That was a pain to get in, because I had to take the whole radiator out to put it on the bottom bit down there. I'm not sure why. It's probably just because it's old and stiff, but in the future I should probably look into replacing that one. Other than that, that's fine. I still have to look at how exactly I put these up. Not entirely sure. I'll figure it out. I just gotta figure out which way to hook these up. I can't remember. And other than that, I started working on the exhaust today. Well, I've been working on it, but I'm doing a bit more to it. This is the first Y pipe. Ignore the fact that that's a 90-degree bend there. I don't really care about flow. I just need something. A little bit of a pain to weld up, but it is welded up now. And worst case scenario, in the future, I can always just kind of cut there, cut here, and then make like a better pipe. But for right now, I just want something that will hold the exhaust and like let the car run without being deafening. And I just got some new parts that I have no idea where I put. Yeah, right here. Got a little elbow piece for my muffler, because it has a 45-degree bend in it, because it's for the Cadillac. You can kind of see it. So hopefully, yeah, they'll straighten out. Cool. And then I got this piece. It's just a 2-inch connector. It's because the back, I'm gonna have to cut it off and make it straight, and then because I want to make it so that I can swap out mufflers if I need to in the future, so it's not hard welded in place. So I have both of these for that. And yeah, right now I just got to line that up and weld this elbow piece on, and then I should actually be good to bolt that fully up. I also have to put the hangers on somewhere. I got a few of those. Ow, my kneecap just popped. But yeah, shouldn't take that long. I'm just mounting it up, and hopefully once I get the first bit mounted in place, I won't have to take it off again. That'd be really nice. And then after that, I just have to work on the muffler and beyond. So I'm gonna have to move the cinder blocks to the back. Or maybe if the car runs enough, I'll just turn it around. I kind of want to hook up. I want to have the muffler hooked up before I try and fire it up, just because it's really loud. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working, and hopefully I can get all that done before it's dark, because I need to do a bit more welding, and there's not really any light in here besides for that one and that one over there. So I'll get back to it. It is 9 o'clock of the next day. Car is now off of blocks. Zoom out a little bit. The exhaust has been fully made. Kneel down under here. You can see the muffler. Door just slammed, almost scared me. You can see the old exhaust laying on the ground. The exhaust comes up over here. That's where my glove was. Yeah, exhaust runs out, cuts off right behind the bumper, which I'm pretty happy with. I didn't even think I'd be able to get to like over the axle with that much bite left, but I did. I managed to get the shock off, actually. Quite shocking, I'd say, because I didn't expect this to even come off. It's a little blown, if I can... I'm not quite familiar with shocks, but I don't think I should be able to, like, open it and then, like, crush it like that. There's not a lot of resistance. But, yeah. I'm pretty sure the one on this side is original. I haven't taken it off yet, but I'm meaning to. I do have a spare set of shocks that I ordered just for this. So it's a little different. But I feel like this one's going to be doing a lot more than this. So that's good. I was having an issue, could not get the car to start. I'm just out here kind of like trying to figure things out, fixing a few things up. Figured out the heater cores, heater lines, I mean. I still need to get a spring for the exhaust. I got new plug wires too. I do have to switch those out. That's not a top priority thing. That's whatever. What else did I do? Other than the exhaust being hooked up. Oh yeah, I hooked up the fuel lines wrong. I ended up trying to pump from my return line, so that didn't really do much. But I eventually figured it out, and now it runs by itself. My fan, because I had to snip a little bit off just to make it fit. It ended up getting really close. And I don't know if it's off balance. It could be. It probably is. But it ended up clipping. See if it'll zoom in. Come on. See if I zoom some far away. That part right down there. Kind of like what's in the center of the screen right there. The fan started to clip that. And it was making, like, it was shaking everything. You can kind of see where it was clipping. Thankfully, this is, like, cheap aluminum. So the fan, being a 70s fan blade, just kind of sliced right through it and only dented itself a bit. So that's all good. I think it is charging. I have not verified. I just ran it for a little bit trying to figure things out so it's warm. Don't want to start again with no coolant. So I'm working on other things right now, such as air filter. I need an air filter. There's no air filter. That air filter is completely destroyed. Like it's practically see-through at this point. And it sucks because like even the base, like the base doesn't even fit this carburetor, which is funny because it's going from a 2-barrel carburetor or a two-barrel fuel injection to 2-barrel carburetor, and it just doesn't add up. So I ordered a new air filter, which is pretty large. I'm okay with that because it's whatever. But I don't have a housing to put it in. This is why I have these signs here. I have a slow sign and a sign from the 103. Where did Grampy get this? I have no idea. I don't know when he got it, but he also did construction, or he did highway work, so maybe he just found one lying on the side, or just took it. I don't know. But I want to try and make a air filter housing out of some signs. Might not end up being these two. I do have other signs, but I think it would be kind of funny if I had like a pattern as an air filter housing, or like use an actual street sign, because then I could have the Nova Scotia flag or like something, just something funny on it. Because if I'm using this, I might even cut it a bit larger just so I don't hit that hole, but so I can have like the whole flag or something. I can do a bit. I would go look for some more signs right now, but it's kind of dark out, so I don't really want to. But I'm going to start figuring out what I can do for this and hopefully have an air filter built tomorrow, because all I need is the air filter, and I got to clean out my ignition switch because it still catches a little bit. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm going to get to it, and hopefully I'll make some good progress. It is now Friday night of the next week. You can't see it over there, but the Cadillac is... you can kind of see it, the Cadillac's there. It just did the last drive of the season because its alternator crapped out on me on Thursday. It's not fun to drive through a city when your car is making maybe 4 volts of power. Anyway, I made it home somehow. Back to the Dodge. The exhaust is already done. I already pointed that out. I completely forgot to record again before I left. My bad. The air filter's been made. I used the sign. I don't know where it is now, but it's over here somewhere. Yeah, there's what's left of it. I did use the signs. I only used the one. I still have flow sign here. Keep that for something else. Anyways, I have that now. It works. It's all mounted up. It wasn't actually that hard to make, to be honest. It didn't really take me that long. I smoothed it out. I do have to clean this up a little bit. It's a little dusty. But that's more of a later thing to do. Yeah. Got the Nova Scotia flag. The history of this car is it was sold brand new in Nova Scotia. I can't remember where. I want to say it was more towards the east coast. Or the east side. I'm not sure where. It was one of the further away towns from where I am. But now I have a Nova Scotia air filter, so that's cool. Did a little bit of work on the carburetor. I have to get a return spring still. But I figured out my accelerator pump, so now that at least works. That actually pumps fluid. Not return spring. The accelerator pump on that carburetor is really weird. It's almost like reverse, because usually when you hit the throttle, it pushes the accelerator pump in. But on this one, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like reverse. There's a spring that keeps trying to push it down, and the throttle like holds it up until you drop it, like you hit the gas pedal, and then the spring pushes it back in. It's really weird. Because actually I think I can show you. See? Because like as I press down the gas pedal, like that bar is sliding up, and it pulls it down to reset it, and then you can see like the spring is pushing it in. I don't know why it's like that, but it's really weird. I haven't seen anything like that. But I also don't know. Yeah, I ended up testing it. I drove it out of the garage. Like I said, I forgot to record. And it drove okay. It did not drive bad at all. The only problem is, I went to hit the brakes, and they worked one time. And then a few seconds later, I hit the brakes again. Nothing. I had the tiniest little bit of brakes. And I'm pretty sure it was the back brakes, because I ended up taking this master cylinder off. and trying to bench prime it, only this port primed up. This one did nothing. I just held my thumb over it and I like primed it a little bit and it was shooting out fluid as it should. I tried priming up this one and it wouldn't do anything. It would, if I like actually tried to put pressure onto it, it would hold a vacuum for some reason. Like no matter what I did, I could hold it there and then push the piston in and it would be a vacuum when I lifted my thumb off. So I have no idea what happened to that. But it's a good thing it happened while I was literally just a minute down the road from here. Because if that happened in the city, like, it would have been over for me. So I bought a new brake master cylinder from Rock Auto. And it's literally the same thing. Only thing different is these weird notches aren't taken out of it. That and, if I can find a clean spot to put this down. The seals on the caps aren't blown out either. They actually seal. Because I had a big problem before, for some reason. The seals in the caps? Okay, it's going to be a disaster in a second. The seals in the caps kept swelling up for some reason. I don't know why. But you can see, like, that's how big it should be. This how big they got. I don't know why they did that, but they did. So, I get to redo the brakes again. Nothing blew underneath. I already checked. I went through all of the brake lines, actually. I went all across back axle, all across the side of the car, all over the front. There's no leaks of brake fluid anywhere. There was no fluid missing from the master cylinder. It's literally just like the master cylinder just stopped pumping. Which, trying to prime it showed, like, it did nothing. I have no idea what happened, but something clearly happened. So, I'm going to put that on and prime it tomorrow because it's late and I'm getting tired. So, I'll probably be back tomorrow. It's the next day. The new brake cylinder is on. I bench bled it last night. I had to go get some more brake fluid because I ran out halfway. But that's on. I did not bleed the brakes yet. I just put it on. I don't have anyone around here and I don't have the equipment to bleed it myself. So I gotta wait for someone to come around so I can do that. But it's all on. I topped it up. So I'm waiting on that. I'm just fixing up some other things right now. I just put a throttle return spring on. Because if you open the throttle a little bit, it was kind of like staying. And I can't really be having that. So another spring on here. So that's all good. Went through, there's a cable here that kept like dangling down, so I just zip tied it to this like center cross piece because it was like sagging down to there, and I don't really want that to get caught on anything, not that there's anything there, but like if it touches the radiator, it gets hot and melts, then I have no idea what goes through that wire, so it could be catastrophic or it could be nothing. But that's all fixed. Zip tied up the alternator wires just so those don't fly in anything. Yeah, pretty much just going around doing stuff. I do have to do a bit more wiring because I don't have any like wipers or any accessories, which is really weird because they're hooked up to that ballast resistor that's like right on the fender there. So I have no idea why that's not working. I assume it's just a connection issue. Oh yeah, my speedometer and like gauges don't work because one of the wires on here gives power to the gauges. I don't know which one, but I gotta hook that up to the actual ignition switch now. And I also have to clean out the ignition switch because it still has a small issue where if you put the key in, notice how it's in like the lock position? That's it trying to start over. It doesn't, it used to do it so like if you turned it here, it would start trying to turn over, but it still kind of does this. So I assume there's just like random crap in there that's like making contact. So I'm going to clean that out and see if I can try and like insulate it a bit better, because this isn't bad per se. I don't like it, but it's not bad. But it's when I'm in just the run position and it starts trying to turn over, that could be really bad if the starter turns on while I'm driving. But yeah. So that's what I'm on to right now. And oh yeah, I gotta put the shocks on the car as well. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of stuff last night. I solved some vacuum leaks, because there was quite a few. I don't remember if I showed it last night, but I soldered some stuff onto it just to solve some issues so it runs a bit better. But yeah, the shocks as well. So I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm just gonna start now, and hopefully by the time someone comes around, I'll be all good. It is the next weekend, and you can really see the leaves coming off the trees now. When I started doing this, it was late August, I think. So it's like the end of October now. It's almost November. I ordered a new carburetor. I was driving this one. I don't remember what I said because there's long gaps in between each week. There was a dead spot in this carburetor. I already like rebuilt it. I went through. I don't know if the accelerator pump was really doing all that much, but it was having an issue. The Datsun had an issue like this before where it got so bad to a point where I only had idle or full throttle. There was like a complete dead spot in between. It would not run. Because whenever I tried to like hit the gas pedal, it would be fine, and then it would hit this certain spot, the engine would just shut off. It wouldn't even sputter. It wouldn't struggle. It wouldn't backfire. It would literally just shut off. So I don't want the same thing to happen to me as what happened in the Datsun, because it's kind of hard to drive a car when you only have full throttle or idle. So I got a brand new carburetor. It's the same carburetor as what was on it before. It's just remanufactured. So that's all good. It does actually run a bit better. Pulling into the garage this morning, I had it parked outside. So that's all good. I'm hoping to finish this off this weekend. I really would like to drive this because I'm pretty much down to like a handful of vehicles. Like that Cadillac is down. That Cadillac could run. It just needs a new battery. The Datsun I was driving this week, and something very upsetting happened. As I was driving down the highway yesterday, I heard a bang, and now there's this crack in my windshield, which that kind of destroyed me last night, because that's very upsetting for me. That truck was doing fine for 54 years, and in an instant, windshield's cracked. So I gotta see if I can get that fixed, but Datsun also is not good for highway travel, so I want to get this fixed. I need to fix my exhaust leak, which I got a little flex pipe. I'm gonna see if I can just cut the little cross member I did down here somewhere. Over there. Yeah, right there. I want to see if I can cut that and just bend the exhaust pipes a bit more. I know what the problem is. Where the exhaust manifold goes onto the exhaust, it's on an angle like this. My angle is more like this. It's just slightly too straight. So all I have to do is just make a little cut, and hopefully it can flex enough to bend and actually make a seal. So that's my top thing. New carburetor should be good. I might have to tune it up a little bit more. Maybe. Hard to say. I have some electronic issues. I don't have overdrive for some reason. I assume it's something to do with my switch on the floor being a pile of dust. Hard to say. But I have to address that. My turn signal on this side, this one taillight, does not work for some reason. I fixed up the brake lights because I didn't have those at all last week. So I fixed that. But I don't have turn signal on that side. I'm also missing a reverse light on that other side, which isn't as big of a deal. That's just a burnt out bulb, and I know that. Yeah, my speedometer still doesn't work. I think that might just be a loose wire. I've had that issue before. And the radio doesn't work, so I gotta add a new connection to that. It's a lot of work, but a lot of it could just be like random luck, like loose wires and stuff. So the main issue now is just the exhaust. Also, I still have to put my shocks on the back. So I'm gonna do the exhaust now, and hopefully I can resolve that first. So just gonna hop in and see if I can get it all done today. It's the afternoon of the next day. The exhaust leak, it's kind of gone. It's a little quieter than before. It's whatever. I added another little bit to the exhaust. Just there was a little bit of resonance happening, and this will actually get it out the back of the car finally. So that should resolve some issues. I fixed my overdrive. I figured out that the reason it didn't work is because I cut all of the wires off. That little switch down there, or the connector, it's that square one in the light. Yeah, I ended up just like shearing all the wires off. The only ones I needed are the only ones I cut, so that's pretty fun. But I ended up figuring that out. I have a little switch for it now. It's just dangling here. It's my on-off switch, wired in expertly. And right now I'm trying to do the last few things I need, which is speedometer, turn signals, and radio. Radio is optional, but I like it. I'd like to fix it. I've been working on my turn signals, trying to figure out where it is, like just jiggling wires and stuff. And I eventually tracked the wire down. I don't know what in the world happened to it, but it has a clean cut straight through it. And I just found the other end of it in the wiring harness there. But of course, the only wire I really need, like half of these wires are completely useless. The only one I need, same one I've had issues with before, completely sheared. No clue what happened to it, clean cut straight through, but I don't know. It cut straight through the copper too. That's what surprised me. But I have that figured out, so hopefully I patch that up, and then all I need is the radio, which is really easy, and the speedometer, which is just finding two wires and linking those up again. So I'm gonna finish that off. It is now 2 months later since the last clip. I did fix the brake lights, I fixed the turn signals and whatnot. Radio is done. Speedometer I need the computer with, and the transmission also needs the computer to shift properly. So minor things, really. I ended up making it to Halifax. Worked fine for about a day. Then, thankfully, I managed to get Tuesday off, because this was Monday I was working fine. Got Tuesday off so I could have like a few appointments, do some admin stuff and whatnot. Good thing I left when I did, because didn't really make it. My ignition system essentially detonated. I'm pretty sure what happened was my ballast resistor like broke inside. It moves around, and like I can essentially use it like a baby rattle. Like, it's pretty sad. So that didn't spark. I cranked for a while, which was my own fault. It filled the exhaust with gas. I thought it was a fuel issue, to be fair. And then the minute it caught, very first spark, it sounded like a gunshot going off right underneath the car. As you can see, the muffler isn't in the best of shape. Brand new muffler too. It really is a shame. I've never seen something fail like that before. It is impressive. I had to use this jack to lift the car up so I could pull the muffler out from underneath. And yeah. So that didn't really work too well. I'm not sure. I feel like it was the ignition that failed causing that, because I mean, I drove it to the secondary base that there's, because I was in the Shearwater base in Dartmouth, and then I ended up going to Stadacona in Halifax. Made it there. Made it out onto the highway, hit some traffic, it stalled again. But I did make it home with no muffler. Straight piped, essentially. Also, when it blew up, it broke every engine, or not engine mount, every exhaust mount. So I ended up having to zip tie them all together. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've touched this car. It does not run right now because the coil and ballast resistor are just completely shot, which is a shame. But I ended up getting a whole bunch of new parts. I did some research. I found out that ballast resistor was just wrong in general. So I ended up just getting a whole bunch of new parts, which I should have when I was first doing this project a while ago. Oh yeah, both the belts that were on there, they both completely cooked themselves too. Like, they're paper thin. I can show you real quick. This is as tight as the alternator can go, and you can just like... Somehow they don't squeal like that. I'm not sure how. I don't know if they're just grabbing so little that they're not touching, or if they are turning the alternator somehow. I really don't know. But I got new spark plugs because I didn't end up changing or cleaning the spark plugs before. So it'll be good to get those in because I have no idea how old those ones are. So new spark plugs, a new belt that's slightly smaller. I only did one because the two belts I got before, they were the wrong size to begin with. But one of them was ever so slightly longer, so that one I couldn't tighten fully, which is annoying. But I kind of expected it. I know you have to get like matched belts because like they're not perfect. And then I got, this is a new ballast resistor. I searched it up. I didn't realize ballast resistors had like different resistance and like working resistance. That one's correct for an ignition. Well, for this ignition I'm using. I got a electric choke pull off because I was missing the one on the engine. So it's -2, which was a bit different from the like 10 degrees I was working with before. Yeah, so I got that. So I'm going to install that because I was using a zip tie as my choke. And then I also got a new coil because it was fairly cheap and I'm pretty sure mine was completely destroyed. I tested the resistance. It was supposed to have like, I think it was around 5,000 ohms of resistance. I checked it, it had like 200. So I decided that was a little done for. And yeah, I got all these parts. And it is currently Christmas Eve. Been a little while. Last clip was before Halloween, so that's fun. But I want to get back into working on this, so I'm gonna start putting the new plugs and stuff in, new coil, new ballast resistor. Just hoping I can get to hear it start again before New Year's. And I'll probably end this video off after that once I can even get it running, because it's gonna take a bit more work to drive it again. So I'm going to hop right into that and hopefully I can get the plugs in at least today. It's a few hours later and I put on all the parts that I could. You can't really see, I only got the garage lights going. But the extent of what I did was I put the electric choke takeoff on, so that's all good. I do have to cut the zip tie that was on there before. I did not do that. I can't get the belt because I'm pretty sure I have to take the radiator out to get that. It was kind of hard to get on in the first place. I have to take the crank pulley off. So that's going to be a later type job. I just put on the new ballast resistor. You can almost see it. And I also put on the new coil and I hooked everything back up So that's all connected. The only things I could not do were the belt, as I said, and the spark plugs, because apparently the spark plugs are the wrong size. They are, I found out as I was searching on Rock Auto, they're considered light duty, whatever that means. Because I don't really know how you go off the size. I'm not good with that. But I do know that the spark plug was like the size of my finger. Should have been like the size of my thumb. Like there was a pretty significant size difference. So I did find out like I can get the heavy duty plugs. And it makes me question what this engine really is. Because I know it's a 360, obviously. But the block says 76, but the front accessories are to a 68, and I couldn't find any plugs listed that would fit the 76. I had to go, well, I was using Rock Auto to do this, so take that in mind, but I had to go down to like, well, at minimum 69, like 1969 to find plugs that would fit. So I'm not really sure why that is, but I don't really know. I'm gonna pack it up for the night, and hopefully tomorrow I should be able to start it up. I don't need the belts to fire it up. Would be nice, but not needed. Same with the plugs, I'll just get that at a later date. So, I'll be back tomorrow. It is the next day. It's currently Christmas. I'm sitting in the Dodge because all the parts are ready, and hoping it'll maybe do something. Nothing. I'm gonna go look around for any loose connections. I'm pretty sure I hooked everything up correctly, but I'll go check again. Well, I went through and I was just trying to start it a few times, and it eventually just popped off a second ago, so I don't know what was holding it back. It's not tuned the best. It's kind of hard to tune. I don't have any proper equipment, but I want to go with just the timing a little bit. Well, I can't seem to adjust it enough to get it running. It's not tuned up enough really to start in this condition, but it is still trying to fire off. Okay, I say that as it doesn't. Whatever. It at least did just run for a few seconds by itself, so that was a nice thing to hear. But for now, I think this video has gone on long enough. It's been about 4 months since I started filming. It's that engine's been sitting there. The engine right there has been sitting there for about, I'd say 2 months. Probably more than that, actually. I feel like that was August. I've just been scrapping parts off of it. And this engine did serve well. I did like the fuel injection, but it didn't like me, so not really much I can do with that. Parts were expensive, few and far between. I don't know. I did like it. Overall, it was a good engine. The only problem was it only ran in this kind of weather condition where it couldn't feel how warm it was. Didn't have an overheating issue, never did. It's just couldn't run if it was room temperature outside, so that was cool. But I am happier with this engine having a strictly mechanical engine. 2 electronic pieces possible, preferably. I just wish I could get it working properly, but I don't know. I'll be able to get into it more once the weather warms up a little bit. This is pretty much the coldest day of this week, so I should be able to pick it up fairly soon. And I still gotta make like a whole exhaust system. I gotta replace my belts, go through the ignition, find out whatever's wrong with that. I probably gotta tune the carburetor too. Just a whole bunch of things. I gotta fix some electrical connections too, a few snapped off. I think there was, yeah, this black wire here is just snapped off. That's whatever. But I think this is a good spot to let this video off. Might be able to edit it, send it off before New Year's. I think that's Sunday, or no, it's Tuesday. So yeah, last video of the year. Well, hope you enjoyed my misadventures of this engine going to the car. A lot of hassle, but a lot of fun. So, hope to get back into it soon. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.